I work with elderly people and people with learning disabilities, and some of them have their hearing or visually impaired, and now we're wearing masks and aprons, and all of a sudden you see this person that you're normally used to seeing in ordinary clothes, because we don't wear a uniform where I work, and then suddenly they're covered in masks, aprons, visors and everything like that, and it makes it very difficult, because then you raise your voice to shout at the person. You're not shouting at the person, you're just trying to get them to hear, and it can be frightening for an elderly person, especially, to see this person coming towards them like this. We are tested weekly. We also do lateral flow tests now, which has just come in the last couple of weeks, twice a week. PPE, because we were a hub for the area, so even people that had private carers in, their PPE could be picked up from where I worked. It hasn't been a problem to get it. Some of it wasn't appropriate. Some of it was out of date and had to be sent back, but luckily my manager was on it and they were able to get rid of it. But I do know places where they had the PPE there, but they weren't allowed to use it. Not until somebody was diagnosed with COVID. And that to me was absolutely ridiculous. You use it to prevent the COVID, not to worry about it after. It's too late when you've had it. There were some people that milked the system a little bit and had COVID symptoms more than once or twice. So, of course, they then had to self-isolate for a fortnight. And with my employer, I know they were paid. I'm not saying it was a lot of people, but I can understand the fear of some people not wanting to work with people who had COVID, or even suspected of having COVID, because of taking it home to their families. When you've got elderly people in your family or even young children, the last thing you want to do is take COVID into the house. Unison have a charity. They're very unusual for a trade union. We have a charity for our members called There For You. And it opened up a special COVID fund. It funded funerals for members, members that couldn't pay their rent because they weren't being able to work or whatever. They supported them with that. Also, the information on our website, other trade unions were pointing them to Unison's website because it was always up to date. The website was being updated sometimes twice, 3 times a day with the up-to-date information. And they were, all the time, they were lobbying the government and getting information out to members. They were undertakers in certain areas of the country that wouldn't take COVID bodies until they had the money for the funeral up front. So Unison provided that through their charity.